Marvel Entertainment brought the idea of a shared cinematic universe to the forefront with the multi-billion-dollar MCU. In the years since Robert Downey Jr. first suited up as Iron Man, Warner Brothers has worked to catch up with their DCEU. Universal ventured into shared cinematic universe territory with their cachet of classic monsters, sticking Dr. Jekyll squarely into their rebooted Mummy movie. But did you know Fox had their own secret shared cinematic universe going back in the 80s? Stretching across multiple franchises with over 20 films and counting? Here, we'll take a look at 22 movies that form a secret cinematic universe. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it with your friends. Subscribe to MovieWeb to keep up with the conversation about all of the things we love. It all starts with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Communist dictators and related thugs were often the villains in the TV shows and action movies of the 70s and 80s. But given the sensitive nature of international relations, not every movie was willing to go full-on Red Dawn and point the cinematic finger at the Soviet Union or Cuba. So screenwriters would cook up fictitious communist countries, usually situated in South or Central America, to avoid antagonizing any real-life governments. To this end, screenwriter Stephen E. D'Souza used the same trick he'd employed on TV's Bionic Woman. He came up with a new pretend country for Arnold to invade as a one-man army to rescue Alyssa Milano in Commando. The former dictator of the make-believe country of Val Verde kidnaps the daughter of the kick-ass commando who overthrew him in an effort to strong-arm him to assassinate his successor. As every 80s action fan knows, John Matrix takes out every single mercenary in the former dictator's employ, eventually fighting his way to his old teammate, Bennett.
Let off some steam, Bennett.
Stephen E. D'Souza wasn't involved with Schwarzenegger's Predator, but like Commando, the 1987 jungle-based action flick was produced by Hollywood heavyweight Joel Silver. In many Q&As and interviews since, including a 2017 anniversary screening of The Running Man, which was written by D'Souza and also starred Arnold, the screenwriter has said he believes Predator takes place in Val Verde. Later Predator films and comic books mention Guatemala and Colombia, but D'Souza contends that the movie in fact spends a little bit of time in different countries, something supported by many Predator fan sites. Val Verde then connects Commando to Predator, which in turn invites in all of its sequels as well as the Alien franchise, thanks to the Alien vs. Predator films. Die Hard, one of MovieWeb's favorite action films of all time, was initially conceived as a vehicle for Frank Sinatra, the sequel to the 1968 movie The Detective, as the script was based on the novel Nothing Lasts Forever, itself a sequel to The Detective. After Old Blue Eyes turned it down, Fox offered the lead role to Arnold, with the idea that it could be retooled as a sequel to Commando. He passed as well, but Commando writer Stephen E. D'Souza was on hand for the screenplay, along with Joel Silver and Predator director John McTiernan. See how many connections we have here? In Die Hard 2: Die Harder, which was also written by D'Souza and produced by Silver, John McClane fights a group of mercenaries who are loyal to a General Esperanza, the deposed leader of the Latin American country of, that's right, Val Verde. Stephen E. D'Souza himself used Val Verde again in two different TV series, Episode 5 of the show Supercarrier in 1988, and Episode 10 of Adventure Inc. in 2003. His script for a 2015 Sheena comic book took place in Val Verde as well. But even with Commando, the Predator films, the Alien movies, and the Die Hard franchise, we aren't finished with the pieces of this secret shared movie universe puzzle. In the first Die Hard, a stolen Pacific courier vehicle serves as the Trojan horse that allows Hans Gruber and the rest of the bad guys to quietly enter Nakatomi Tower. In the third Die Hard film, Die Hard with a Vengeance, we see the fictitious company's fictitious sister company, Atlantic Courier. Die Hard director of photography Jan de Bont directed the Keanu Reeves action vehicle, pardon the pun, Speed. Pacific Courier shows up again there too. Speed was basically Die Hard on a bus, and its sequel, Speed 2 Cruise Control, was Die Hard on a boat. But unlike Jean-Claude Van Damme's Die Hard in a hockey rink and Steven Seagal's Die Hard on a train movies, we can place both Speed movies squarely in the shared movie universe thanks to the inclusion of Pacific Courier from the Die Hard movies, which we know exists in the same universe as the fictitious country of Val Verde. We're now talking about more than 20 films under the Fox umbrella, but we still aren't finished. Joel Silver strikes again. He was one of the folks behind the 1991 movie Ricochet, which he actually produced at Warner Brothers, the same place where he'd later produced the Matrix movies. Denzel Washington stars in Ricochet, and among his co-stars was Mary Ellen Trainor as news anchor Gail Wallens. We have to give a hat tip to Forbes magazine for pointing this out. Yes, the same actress plays the same character in both Diehard and Ricochet, which puts Val Verde there too. Val Verde shows up in video games also, like Predator: Concrete Jungle. Scientists even named a real-life spider after Val Verde. The Predator Unops spider is named after the cinematic race of alien hunters due to the resemblance of the spider's mouths to a predator's face. The Predator Unops valverde is a subspecies. While we can't visit the country of Val Verde in real life, cinephiles and pop culture fans can always pay a visit to some of the locations that were used in the country's portrayal. The Long Beach Airport passenger terminal served as a Val Verde airport and commando. San Pedro, California doubled as the port to Val Verde and supercarrier, with Valencia, California used as the location for its countryside. Now imagine if Samuel Jackson had invited Bruce Willis to join the Avengers. We hope you enjoyed this look at 22 movies that form a secret cinematic universe. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it with your friends. Be sure to subscribe to MovieWeb to stay up to date on the conversations about all of the things we love.